The day they shipped us down through the copper clouds of Titan, the carrier's hull hummed with the chords of our pre-battle chorus. The older singers, veterans of Ganymede's crater sieges, silver-scarred and saturated with gene-woven resonators, held the low drones. We rookies floated in acceleration couches and searched for the pitch of courage while counting the heartbeats that separated us from the methane plains below. I watched the storm lights flicker across Ori Mayek's faceplate. Ori had survived 4 deployments, each time losing a little more of her natural voice to sonic recoil, yet somehow gaining resonance. They said if she breathed in the wrong key, mountains shook. She caught me staring and flashed her palms in the silent battle sign we all learned before we could spell our own names. Hold your note, rookie. I tightened my jaw and felt the symbiotic filaments woven through my larynx tingle in reply. Our mission brief was simple on paper and impossible everywhere else. The Terran Commonwealth had underestimated the Confederacy's armored revival by 2 whole fiscal quarters. Now, 15 mechanized columns rolled across Kraken Mare's shoreline, their turrets bristling with rail cannons, calibrated to punch holes in orbit. They planned to carve a corridor to the Thessaly mines, seize the helium-3 caches, and choke Earth's expansion for a generation. The only force inside interception range was 123rd Harmonic Shock Brigade, 83 war singers, 4 coordinators, and a single drone battalion to pick up pieces afterward. We pierced cloud deck at dawn. Dawn on Titan is a saffron smear. Sunlight sifted through hydrocarbon haze, pale and hungry. Below, the plains glimmered like tarnished bronze, puddled with liquid methane reflecting the dim disk of Saturn. The carrier opened its belly and we dropped, thruster packs whining. At 800 meters, Commander Zayev's voice flooded our implants. Orpheans, form triads, lock tuning. Imagine a choir of thunder descending, every throat loaded with gyroscopic cartilage, every lung lined with piezo capillaries that could turn breath to artillery. That was us, when our boots finally sank ankle-deep into cryogenic mud among stunted dunes of organic grit. The air smelled like gasoline dreams. Frost pearls clung to our exo-rigging. Miha, my triad partner, cracked a grin that fogged her visor. "First contact in 11 minutes, she said, her voice already harmonized with the HUD's metronome. The pulse-marked beats of 432 hertz, our base key, tuned to Titan's atmospheric density to maximize resonant carry. We sprinted to Ridgeline Alpha, 30 meters of wind-shaped crust. Beyond stretched the invasion phalanx, tanks with segmented hulls, skitter legs unfolding so each vehicle could walk above the marsh, composite armor ablaze with enemy heraldry. Some called them dragons. To me, they looked like beetles dipped in gunmetal, self-propelled nightmares. Their front ranks fired potassium flame tracers to test our range. Streaks of violet tore the air but fell short, fizzing out where oxygen was scarce. Coordinator Sayed's command channel clicked open. "Silence your fear. Open your throat. Remember, we sing not for death, but for the note beyond death." Every war singer carries a personal memory of the first tone, a lightning jolt that proves the genetically spliced sound chambers inside us were worth the VAT fees and childhood of audiometric drills. Mine was the day I shattered a marble column in the academy courtyard at age 9. Now, as the enemy advanced, I needed something stronger. I closed my eyes and summoned the memory of my sister Isla humming lullabies through the tin wall of our barracks during blackout curfews. The notes swelled, curled around my heartbeat, found cracks of hesitation, and sealed them with warmth. Miha, Ori, and I interlocked arms. Our haptic sleeves synced. I could feel their pulses like extra heartbeats in my wrists. Together we inhaled. The intake valves chilled the methane-laden air, stripping toxins, saturating it with micrograins of conductor dust necessary for the quantum sonics about to erupt. "On my sweep," Zayev said, his baritone a living metronome. 5, 4. The first beat erupted. Ari cut loose a sub-bass note at 22 hertz, too low for unmodified ears, but heavy enough to rattle bone. Miha layered a perfect fifth above, creating a ripple frequency that danced in the narrow density bands unique to Titan's atmosphere. I was top voice, tasked to pierce. My filaments hummed, my tongue a tuning fork. I released a high C sharp but skewed microtonal by 37 cents, our secret algorithmic offset that transformed the triad into a fractal waveform. We aimed our mouths like cannons. The harmonic shockwave coalesced in front of us, invisible yet visible by its effect. Fog whipping outward in concentric rings, dune crust lurching upward as if pulled by some titanic magnet. When the wavefront struck the leading enemy column, tanks imploded. No fireball, no Hollywood spectacle, just sudden, silent crumpling, plates tearing, men and circuitry folded like tinfoil by a giant's fist. Micro-pressure differentials did the killing. Our song merely opened the door. They answered with artillery. Whip lines of electromagnetic slugs arced overhead. Some found carriers dropping more of our brigade. Others drilled into the ridge and popped geysers of methane slush. One slug hit matriarch Devon, slicing through her chest harness. She collapsed, resonance chambers rupturing in a puff of crimson vapor. Her unfinished note lingered, wobbling like a wounded bird until Zaiv absorbed it into his own line. The choir never stops, it just changes mouths. We pushed forward, note by murderous note. The trick to shock singing is dynamic layering. Each triad builds a partial harmonic. Adjacent triads contribute complementary intervals, creating a lattice of convergent pressure nodes. On Titan, where sound travels slower than on Earth, yet carries farther owing to dense air, these nodes can be shaped like blades or hammers. Syed orchestrated us through cranial implants, conducting with thought pulses. She would assign me and Miha to vibratory shear duty, shredding armor by inducing standing waves, then spin us into vortex alignment to topple entire formations. But victory is never one note. After we neutralized first assault wave, the Confederacy deployed counter-resonance shields. Antennas sprouted from the surviving tanks, generating broadband white noise to erode our coherence. Our next volley scattered, power halved. Tanks swapped skidder legs for treads and accelerated, firing cluster rods. Seconds later, a rod slammed 5 meters from me. Static flared. My audio processors spiked with feedback, a banshee wail that sent me to my knees. Through blur, I saw Miha, blood beating from her ear ports. Ori hauled us behind a fractured ridge. She keyed private channel. If they jam root frequencies, we retune. Spectrum shift old myths style. Old myths, pentatonic modes based on ancient earth folk music, discovered by early bioacousticians to be more biologically sticky. Harder to jam because the intervals resonated naturally with human neural rhythms. They also required raw emotional trigger, sadness, joy, rage. We rarely used them. High Command deemed them unstable, but unstable beats dead. Ori began humming a dusty old tune, Ashkarum, a lament from pre-digital Armia. Her sub-bass found new foundations. Mia layered mournful thirds. I felt their grief and added the keening octave. Tears floated inside my helmet, blurred the HUD. With each note the triad's harmonics grew barbed. Unmeasured by Sayed's neat diagrams, we were no longer weapons in perfect tune. We were 3 throats screaming at a universe that kept asking for more bodies. We stood. Ori let her bass crawl like tectonic plates. Mia and I rode her swell, vibrating the ground rather than the air. The Confederacy tanks approached within 200 meters. Their noise shields coughed static into the sky. But static works on linear math. Grief is non-linear. Our cord slipped between white noise bands, found structural resonance with the tungsten hulls, and ripped them apart from within. I saw rivets pop free, like seeds from drying pods. One crew hatch blew open. A soldier tumbled out, suit torn, eyes wide. He tried to scream, but our wave stole his sound. Command reported chatter. Enemy requested immediate overhead kill drones. Time to move. We rejoined the main formation. Casualty readouts. 15 singers gone. 6 with ruptured vocal arrays. Critical. Supply drones speared from the clouds, delivering fresh resonator fluid and neurological dampers. Titan dust settled over everything like cocoa powder. High noon, again an Earth phrase that feels wrong on this world, found us at the edge of Aphrodite Chasma. The Confederacy had regrouped across the fissure, fortifying with mobile ridgeline cannons. Between us yawned a treacherous trench 2 kilometers wide, methane rivers braiding through its floor, mist swirling. They believed the gap barred us. Our suits could not cross unaided, and our notes could not carry cleanly through chasm turbulence. Leaves me smiling now. They forgot. We manipulate sound by shaping environment. Zeev assembled the entire surviving brigade along the escarpment. Full chorus, event, he announced. Objective, create bridge. We had rehearsed the concept during orbital maneuvers, never executed planetside. It required synchronizing 80-plus voices to generate a phased standing wave powerful enough to freeze vapor into solid hydrocarbon foam, a temporary causeway over the trench. The calculations predicted 95% risk of irreversible vocal cord damage, 50% risk of neurological feedback seizures. But if we could not cross, Titan would belong to the Confederacy by nightfall. We formed hemispheric array, each singer given a frequency band. Ori, Miha, and I were central anchors. Medical drones injected us with anti-shock peptides. Nanofilaments in our throats tightened like harp strings. Saeed's last order before linking us into group mind: sing your name into this world so loudly that it must remember you after you're gone. The downbeat hit. Imagine planets in collision, but in slow motion. Sub-bass rumbled through the crust. Mid-range tones spiral-lifted aerosol droplets from the chasm, pre-freezing them. High frequencies etched patterns that aimed the condensation. The air glowed faintly, iridescent. Harmonical fluorescence, proof that our sound carried photonic companions, a side effect of quantum sonics not yet fully explained. I felt my chest vibrate until ribs threatened to splinter. Blood vessels in my eyelids burst. Crimson filmed my sight. Still, we held the cord, bending pitch millihertz by millihertz, sculpting. From the mist emerged shapes, archways, buttresses, spidery lattices of crystallized methane and aromatic hydrocarbons, a bridge of song. When the structure reached our cliff, Zeev cut the cord. We collapsed in unison. Some singers coughed blood, others slumped silent, minds fried. My voice had seared itself to a rasp. Words tasted like iron filings. But the bridge glimmered, strong enough for infantry drones and exo-rigged troops. We crossed at double time. I limped, leaning on Mia. She'd bitten through her lower lip but smiled anyway, teeth pink. Cannon fire greeted us. Our causeway shattered behind. Enemy lucky shot, but most of brigade already over. No retreat now. The last battle began amid tumbled blocks of Tholin rock. Confederacy Commander Liao deployed sonic nullers, devices that absorb sound into metamaterial chambers, silencing fields 20 meters wide. They also unleashed bipedal mechs with flak dissipators tuned to human voice range. We were running out of throat and out of time. Zeev ordered split maneuvers. Small teams infiltrate nuller perimeters, get close enough for direct sonic injection, whisper kills rather than shockwave. Ori, Miha, and I volunteered. We crawled through gullies dodging patrol drones until a nuller tower loomed. Inside its hum I heard nothing, not even my own heartbeat, a terrifying sensory vacuum. We were taught a technique called bone conduction. Place your helm against target surface, sing through your skeleton. The sound bypasses air, vibrates directly into metal, causing microfractures, But you must pitch lower than your natural floor, risking thoracic collapse. Ori went first. She pressed her helmet to the tower's base, inhaled, and released a note-like mountains grinding. I watched steel tremble, bolts unscrew themselves. Veins bulged on her neck, blood seeped from her nasal ports. The tower sagged, snapped. The null field flickered. As soon as sound returned, Mieja and I added harmonics. The tower imploded silently, sucking its own debris inward. But a mech had spotted us, 6 meters tall, jointed like rabid stork, armed with ultrasonic lances. It fired. The beam slashed across Ori's legs. Singer's suit sealed, but bones were gone. She toppled. She grabbed my arm, forced a vial into my palm. Her resident seed, a microcrystal storing her unique voice print. "Carry me!" "In the cord," she breathed. Mieja screamed. A raw, ordinary scream, yet even unguided, her biotech turned it into a flurry of harmonic shards. The mech's sensors overloaded, joints locked. I took Ori's seed, slotted it into my neck port. Her timbre flowed into my nervous system. A second ghost voice perched behind mine. We faced the mech. Mieja and I, now fused with Ori's resonance, formed an impossible triad, 3 voices in 2 bodies. We sang. The shock wave spiraled like double helix, punched through the mech's abdomen, eviscerated its power core. It fell, slag sizzling. We dragged Ori's body to extraction zone. She bled out minutes later, smiling at sky she could no longer see. I wanted to mourn, but command pinged. Mobile fortress ahead. Last stand. All functional singers converge. The fortress was a crawler city, 6 tank treads, 3 stories tall, decks lined with missile nests. In its center, a cathedral of steel, intentionally designed to mock our craft massive organ pipes, emitting dissonant counterharmonics, a parody of singing. I pumped disharmony that felt like knives inside my teeth. Saeed's final command cut across the static. Overtone cascade, sacrifice pattern. That meant we surrender our vocal apparatus completely, drive resonators past overheating until they fuse and detonate. The resulting pulse would fry electronics, liquefy armor within a limited radius, and kill every singer in range. We had 27 left able to phonate. I looked at Mieja. Her eyes glowed determination over fear. We approached undercovering fire from drone wing. At 50 meters, we could taste the fortress's dissonance, a sour film on the tongue. Saeed counted down silently. My lungs ached. Ori's seed pulsed inside my neck, as if eager to join finale. We inhaled in unison. There is a moment, edge between breath and sound, where choice still exists. I pictured my sister, back on Luna's station, humming. I pictured Ori, child screaming at distant waves of sunlight she'd never see again. I let their notes join mine. We exhaled. The overtone cascade begins gentle, a hum layered by fifths, sevenths, ninths. Then exhale keeps going, forcing filaments to vibrate beyond tensile strength. Superheating, they shed photons, the air around us glowing blue-white. Pressure built, my vision tunneled. Somewhere deep I felt laryngeal tissue tear, cartilage crack, but pain was distant. Sound had replaced everything, a sun of resonance. The fortress organ fought back, hurling antinotes. Our cascade adapted, shifted microtonal, devoured them. When amplitude peaked, we directed the wave forward. I caught glimpse of Mieja, mouth wide, throat illuminated from inside by own radiance. Then the shock wave left us. I did not hear it hit. My auditory nerves fried halfway. But I saw fortress ripple like reflections in disturbed water. Walls bowed, treads lifted. Entire sections liquefied. A halo of sparks rose. Explosion without flame, just pure mechanical unbinding. Silence crashed, thicker than vacuum. My legs gave, gasped, but no sound emerged. Cords burnt. Around me, singers slumped, some dead, some alive in quiet agony. The fortress lay ruined. Confederate signals ceased. Dusk bled through clouds. Titan's strange twilight shimmered off methane pools now rippling from aftershock. Med-drones found us. Miha sat beside me, throat swollen, voice gone. She squeezed my hand, traced fingers. We did it. I nodded. In Field Hospital Dome, doctors wired replacement sheaths along my neck. They said maybe I'd talk again, maybe even sing with artificial resonators. But the original gear was done. Ori's seed remained inside me, dormant now, a relic. Weeks later, Command unveiled casualty lists and commendations. I could not hear properly, everything muffled. Yet when they projected recording of our overtone cascade, filtered for human ears, I felt chest vibrate with ghosts of our final chord. Not triumphant, not mournful, something in between, like a promise etched into wind. The war would drag on, as wars do. New singers would be grown, trained, shipped to fresh hells on Europa or the ice vents of Enceladus, but Titan's plains carried scars of our music. Survey drones reported harmonic grooves carved into bedrock, kilometers long, shimmering under weak sun. No natural erosion could erase them soon. They were our signatures, funerary staves on a planetary score sheet. I spent rehab learning to sign with hands, a language older than war, quieter than memory. Sometimes, late shift, I step outside the dome, let Titan's cold seep into polymer bones. I touch ground and think I can still feel faint pulse, remnants of that cascade echoing through rock, circling the methane seas, a chord too stubborn to die. If you ever visit, kneel and listen. Maybe you'll catch it. Faint but insistent. The sound of humans who refuse to be silent, even as silence claimed them. They called us weapons, but we were singers first. Songs end, resonance lasts.